He's on it. Got him. Nice smallmouth right there.
All know me. Know how I earn a living.
Good morning, everybody. We're here at our vacation house in Perry, Maine. And we're here on the beautiful shores of Boyden Lake. Say good morning, Gia.
Good morning.
It's my number one girl. And we had some rain last night. Oh, it's foggy out there today. So we're going to go do some fishing later on. But first we're going to go down to my parents' house down the way and have breakfast with everybody. And then we're going to go do a little bit of fishing. Big day today. We're going to have a bunch of lobster, go on the pontoon boat, go do some fishing, go get some sea glass. Cool stuff, different stuff, family stuff. A big breakfast this morning. Cool Touch electric griddle. Perfect for campsite breakfast. Gia, why don't you drive over there? So Gia's 14 now, so we do some practice driving. Why don't you put your seatbelt on first? That's a good idea. So we are on private property, so Gia can legally drive. All right, all your mirrors good? Check your mirrors. First thing is always seatbelt, right? Did you make sure everybody had their seatbelts on?
Do you have your seatbelt on?
Not yet.
Which one's the brake?
Thanks for letting me know. Which one's the brake? Oh God, I'm second guessing this now.
Is it the left one?
It's the left one. So you only use your right foot. You don't use both feet. You only use your left foot. So put your right foot, put your right foot on the brake. Mm-hmm. Okay. Put it in reverse.
I'm scared. I'm so scared.
Don't be scared. Just relax. All right, and then there's your thing. So just back up. Nice and you turn the wheel. Nope, the other way. Yep. So if you want to go that way, if you want to, yep, keep going. Turn the wheel to the right. Yep. That's it. Yep. There you go. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. You're good. All right. Nope. Put it in drive. It's a process, right? Step by step. You're good.
This one?
Yep, you're good. Turn the wheel to the left. Yep, before you start moving. Whoa, stay at the brake. Oh my God. Okay, put it in reverse. Okay, back. Turn the wheel to the right. Back up. Slow, everything's slow. All right, good, stop. Now, you're using both feet. To only use your right foot. Right now, put it in drive, turn the wheel to the left. Go the direction that you want to go. You don't need the gas, just come off the brake. Okay, that's it. Keep going, turn the wheel. You go that way. Get the car the direction you want. Turn the wheel, turn the wheel. Nope, the other way you want to go.
I was.
All right, good. Okay, now follow the tracks. You can give it a little bit of gas.
I don't need gas.
Well, we also don't want to drive. I think I just saw a turtle pass us. Oh, there you go. Look at this. All right, stay on the track. Stay on the road.
I am.
No, you're not. You're off the road. Slow down. You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it. All right, keep going, and then you're gonna go to the left of my dad's truck.
It's a little hard.
No, it's not. Just steer. Steer the car. Tell the car where you want it to go. That's it. You can park here. Okay, good. Okay. We made it. We're in one piece. And we'll do a little more practice. Are you going to turn the car off? Oh my God.
That was fun.
All right.
Can I drive back?
Of course you can. Okay. So here we are. All right, well, we're ready for breakfast.
Well, good for you.
Let's go. Let's get this transcontinental breakfast started.
Okay, well, first of all, I gotta
Or
put
whatever
all
it's
these
called.
away.
What is it called? Continental breakfast.
Continental, not trans. Ooh, sizzle.
Let's go fishing. So we're heading out on Boyden Lake. We're here at our summer home here in Maine. And it's a beautiful morning. Do some bass fishing. We are going to go fishing on our pontoon boat. It's the end of August. Water temperatures dropped a lot. The lake's about probably 6 or 7 feet low. And we're gonna go out here and see if we can catch us some fish. Girls are over there. Anna's getting ready to go for her morning walk. And Gia's doing her TikTok dances. And I'm gonna go fishing. So let's do this. So you don't need a big fancy fishing boat to go fishing. You can use our pontoon boat. Actually, to tell you the truth, pontoon boat's a lot of fun to fish off of because it's very stable. If we don't have a trolling motor on this boat, I have one I can put on it, but really don't need it, to be honest. We're gonna head out here and see if we can catch some smallmouth, some largemouth, and there are some really nice fish in here. Lake is down about 6 feet, so it's kind of pushed some of the fish out of the shallow grass and everything. You know, there's some little points that have grass on them, but a lot of that grass is unfortunately dead. It's just died off from last year, but there is a grass line that is further offshore, so that's what we're gonna go target. There's a couple flats down here we're gonna go check out. We'll see if we can catch them. When we're finding fish, you know, you kind of look at like the current conditions. The water temperature has cooled down a lot. The water level has gone down significantly. That's going to pull the fish off the shore. Any shallow cover that they're in, usually it's going to pull the fish off the shore. And they'll start to relate to things like boat docks, points, grass lines that are out deeper, and this water is very clear. So what I'm hoping to find are some grass lines that are out deeper and say 10, 12 feet. I'll take a little peek up in the shallow grass, what's left of it. There's a couple coves, one on each end of the lake, that usually has some cabbage and coontail grass. The center of the lake here where I am now, I'm only in about 13 feet of water. There's just no grass. There's really no structure. So I'm trying to kind of find that happy place in the middle where I think fish will want to live. Usually when they pull off the shore, they're going to go to that first available cover that they find. So that's what I'm going to try to kind of look for right now, is to see what's the closest cover and structure that I can find that's just offshore. We're up to 8 feet here. We're kind of up on a flat. There's a grass line, went from about 13 feet to 8 feet, 9 feet out here. And again, I'm just looking for grass. Let me just show you what that looks like. Now we've got kind of a northeast wind blowing down the lake, so I'm going to focus on the areas that are on the wind-blown side. That's where all the bait is going to be pushed. That's where, and the predatory fish are going to follow the bait fish. So that's why I'm going to kind of focus down here, at least to start. But we've got about 8 feet, and I'm going to start here pretty soon, just kind of out off the flat, and we'll see what happens. I don't have any fancy equipment here. I didn't bring any of my good fishing gear from home. I bought these rods at a local hardware store, actually. They're both combos, nothing fancy, but we're going to catch fish with it anyway. So I've got rigged on the spinning rod. Oh, fish right there. Look at that. Watch. I got a fluke on here. Let's see if we can catch this fish. Fish just jumped. That's a good sign. Definitely a bass. See if we can get him to eat the fluke. Here, he's on it. Got him. Nice smallmouth right there. Yeah. Nice smallie. That's a good one. It's probably more. It's probably more. Yep, that's a good one. Nice. Look at that. That's why you got to pay attention. Pay attention. Nature will tell you where it lives, but you have to be open to it. Look at that. Nice smallie. Good smallmouth. Get up here, buddy. Look at that. Ooh, and he's warm. Right there. Perfect hook set. Boom. Nice smallmouth on the Zoom Fluke. All right. Thank you, buddy. All right, so there's fish out here. Water's relatively warm compared to the air temperature. I could probably put on a top water. I have a Zara Spook with me. I don't have a lot of tackle. I don't have anything like super special, you know, just standard stuff. Let's see if I can get another one here. And he got it good too. Throwing it out. Got 10-pound braid to a barrel swivel and about I'd say a 12-inch leader of fluorocarbon with a 5/0 Gamakatsu extra wide gap hook and a Zoom Super Fluke. And about a $20, I don't know, $30 fishing rod combo. Imagine that. Just giving it little twitches, let it die, twitch, twitch, let it die. Good stuff right there. Yeah. Boy, I'll tell you, I am really, really tempted to put a top water on. So we pulled up, I saw that fish attack bait, and you know, when you see that, kind of tells you what you need to be doing. They're feeding on the surface, you know, you need to put on a surface lure. So that's what I'm going to do. I can't take it. I got to throw top water. Who doesn't like top water? I've got on here a jig right now, brown 3/8 ounce jig. I was fishing through the grass, but I'm going to put a top water on. We'll go back to the jig maybe later once the sun comes up and they push down into the grass. All right, so I'm going to tie this top water on real quick, and I'm just going to use the old double pits. And I don't have a swivel on this. I don't really need one. They'll get more action if you have, you know, like a split ring or something like that. But again, we're just going easy here. You know what I'm saying? Nothing fancy. We don't need to be fancy all the time. All these fancy knots and fancy things. Moisten it. Don't use your teeth. Just use scissors. Okay. A lot of people think, like, you know, you're gonna throw a top water, it's got to be early in the morning or low light conditions, stuff like that. When you have smallmouth around, it doesn't matter. Caught him, you know, bright sun. This is a Zara Spook type lure. It's got a great big, I really like this one actually, because it's kind of one of like a, it's like a cheapy knockoff, but it has a great rattle in it, super loud. And we're just going to let the wind kind of blow us back into this little bay here. Like I said, we're just fishing off the pontoon with some kind of, you know, bargain equipment. Nothing fancy. Listen to how loud that thing is. You know, we're in about 8 feet of water here, but you know, this thing is so loud and the water's so clear that, you know, they'll come up for it. And the other nice thing is, you know, like I have that Fluke tied on, the spinning rod. If one blows up on this thing and I can't get them to eat it, I can pick up that Fluke and cast it in there, and more often than not, they'll eat that. It's called a follow-up bait. We're just walking the dog. This is called walking the dog. It's like you do for stripers. And I'll just fan cast, you know, kind of cast in all different directions. Kind of perfect conditions for a topwater too. There's a slight little chop on the water, which kind of breaks up the silhouette of the bait. And again, I'm letting the wind push us down into this little cove. I don't have a trolling motor, so I'm just using the wind. Sometimes you can let it sit there a minute before you start working it. I do it sometimes, depends. If they're really aggressive with it, then I just get it moving. Stop it every so often. One thing when you're working at topwater, especially for smallmouth, is if you're working it and one hits it, a lot of times you want to keep it moving. It keeps them aggressive, it keeps them interested, and they'll hit it again and again. You know, so your usual reaction is to stop it, but you want to keep it moving. See the plug working back and forth, now walk the dog style. Love it. A lot of times, you know, in a lake like this where there's just not a lot of cover, you know, the smallmouth especially are kind of like tuna. They just roam in open water and they're just looking for food. So you kind of have to just pick an area like this big flat here, back end of the lake, and just cast around. as we get a little shallower in here, if we can hopefully come across some patches of grass, we might get into some largemouth. I mean, look at this rod and reel. It's actually not bad. This is a real tree strength. Strength, distance, accuracy. This is a 7-foot medium heavy. And it's some knockoff reel, but I'll tell you what, thing's not bad. Really not bad. Sometimes with a walking boat, oh, I just had one hit it. He's behind it. Speed it up a little bit. See if we can get him to eat it. Look at it. See the wake behind it? Oh, he's on it. Oh, he's on it. He's on it. That's a big fish. Got him. There he is. Smallmouth. Yeah, buddy. See how I kept working it? Got to keep working the bait. That fish hit it like 8 times. Yeah. That was cool. Nice fish. Yep. That's why I say, you know, a lot of times people will stop the lure and the fish won't be interested anymore. So just keep working it. That's a nice one. Get up here, booger. Yeah, it's a nice topwater smallmouth right there. Look at that fish, huh? Nice one. Well, we were talking about cadence and changing up the cadence of your retrieve and your lure, and sometimes, you know, sometimes they want it faster, sometimes they want it slower. That fish there, he hit it initially when it was just sitting there, and I kept working it, and I kept working it and working it, and I could see the wake behind it the entire time. Come on, there we go. And you can see, I mean, look at this lure. Look at this lure. This isn't anything fancy. Nothing fancy here. Just a cheapy old knockoff Zero Spook type lure. Oh, we catch a smallmouth like that. Let's get another one. That was cool. That was very cool to watch that fish tracking that thing. Yeah, he was tracking it. You know, and when you have clear water like this, where the visibility is, you know, like 10, 20 feet or more, you know, you can throw a topwater in deeper water. It doesn't have to be, you know, say 5 feet or less. You know, you can throw a topwater in 10, 12 feet and they'll be able to see it. And a lot of times you get some of your best action, your best strikes when you're fishing topwater deeper, because, you know, they come up from a greater distance to eat the bait. So if I get an opportunity to catch fish on a topwater and a little bit deeper water, I'm game, man. I love it. A couple loons right here in front of me. Now that's something else to think about too. You know, you got these 2 loons and they're predators, they're fish eaters, and they're down here. There's another one up there. So they're down this end of the lake. This is where I want to be. You know, if there's predators are picking this particular piece of water to hunt in, they know what's going on. So being observant to nature, like I had mentioned, is really important. It can tell you a lot. It's like when we're out, you know, fluke fishing or tuna fishing, we're looking for whales, we're looking for dolphins, other signs of life, bait fish. You know, that's how you pick your fishing water. You know, and then you just build off of that. But knowing knowing where to locate fish is 3/4 of the battle. Usually if you find them, you can get them to eat pretty much whatever you want. You know, a lot of times too, like, you know, we're out bass fishing, you catch a pike or a pickerel, and you know, people say, oh, I gotta get out of here, I don't want to be catching pickerel all day. Well, pickerel are there because the bait's there. So if there's bait there, there's gonna be bass. So, you know, to me, if I get into an area you know, where there's other types of predator fish around, I'm gonna fish that area because, you know, that's where the bait is. They're there for a reason. Just like these loons are here for a reason. You know, see how they're working? I mean, they're basically working down the middle of this bay just like we are. They're just drifting right down to the back looking for food. Pay attention to nature. There's one right there. That's a good fish right there. Yeah, he just came up and inhaled it. I didn't even move it. I didn't even move the bait that time. Nice smallmouth. Nice one. Nice one. I didn't even move the bait that time. Oh, is this a largemouth? It's a largemouth. No kidding. Nice, I didn't even move it. We got a largemouth. Nice, about 2-pounder or so. Yeah. Ooh, be careful with them hooks, JT. All right. I didn't even move the bait. It came up and inhaled it. That's probably a pound and a half fish. Thank you, buddy. All right. That was pretty cool. So what I'm going to do is now, every so often, I'm going to stop the spook. I'm just going to work it a little bit and then pause it. A lot of times largemouth like to eat it when it stops. Smallmouth, you can just keep working it. You don't need to stop it. Largemouth like to hit it when it pauses. Oh, that was cool. So that one fish this morning, when we first started, which wasn't that long ago, about maybe 35 minutes ago, that one fish that came up attacked bait, and we threw out to and caught, led us to catch these last 2 fish. Told us that the fish are willing to come to the surface to feed. So we put a topwater on, caught a smallmouth, and caught that last largemouth. And this is how we start to build a pattern. And a pattern is, you know, when you are out fishing and you find a specific lure, a depth range, retrieve speed, color, bait style, a type of cover that the fish are relating to, and you can go replicate that on different parts of the lake. So if, let's say, you know, we find them in a particular type of vegetation at a certain depth on a certain bait, now I can go around the rest of the lake and find those locations and catch fish all over the lake. and that's called pattern fishing. Pattern fishing was actually kind of first developed by Roland Martin in the Bassmaster tournaments back in the 70s and 80s. And Roland Martin really revolutionized pattern fishing. And that was, you know, long before the days of, you know, these crazy electronics now, forward-facing sonar and all this stuff that really, in my opinion, just takes away from the whole craft of fishing. But finding them is the art. But anyway, if you don't have any of that, all that fancy equipment, and most people I don't think do, and you want to go out and find fish the old-fashioned way, that's what you want to do. Pattern fish. Pay attention to nature. You know, even when you're driving to the lake, you know, and you're heading to the lake, and if you look on the side of the road and you see a lot of deer or turkeys or, you know, even, you know, coyotes, any type of wildlife, and they're out moving around, they're out and about, they're feeding, they're active, usually those are the days are going to be the best fishing days. Nature has rhythms, and you know, if the wildlife is active on the way to the lake, chances are the fish are going to be active too. I just saw some little silvery bait fish come up out of the surface about 10 feet behind my lure. And again, I'm just fan casting this whole area out here, because you never know where you're going to find a patch of grass that could hold a whole school of fish. Could be 15, 20 fish on one patch of grass. You know, once the sun comes up, let's say this topwater bite ends, it doesn't mean that the fishing's over. It just means that this particular technique is you know, not the one to be doing anymore. But the fish aren't going to move. What they'll do is they'll just, you know, position themselves into the grass, and then we can go after them with, you know, jigs and other types of baits like that, and actually bring the lure down to the fish rather than trying to call the fish up to the lure. Now, a lot of this, you know, fishing is fishing, and a lot of these freshwater kind of techniques and philosophies can be applied in saltwater as well. It's the same thing. You know, fish want to be around structure, cover, bait, deeper water access. You know, so you can apply all of this to saltwater, and that's a lot of what I do. You know, especially with fluke. Fluke are very similar to bass, especially smallmouth. The way they relate to current and, you know, structure on the bottom and feeding habits. You know, obviously they're not feeding on, fluke aren't feeding on the surface, and they don't jump, but the way in which they position themselves and utilize cover and structure is very, very similar. Uh-oh. Looks like there's a weak behind my bait. There is. Look at it. Pull out the, see what I was talking about? There was a fish that followed my bait up. Let's see if I can get him to eat the fluke. He'll be around. Look like a better fish. Oh, yes. Oh, I lost him. Boy, crushed it. Here he is. Look at that. Look at that. Got him. Nice largemouth. Look at that. How cool is that? Isn't that amazing? We had that follow-up bait. We were paying attention, watching the top water. Right? He didn't want it. He gave up on it. So we pulled out this follow-up bait and caught him. And that's a nice fish. Get up here. Look at this one. That's a nice largemouth, close to 3 pounds. Oh, isn't that fun? Oh, man. Look at that fish on the Fluke, right? That's our follow-up bait for our topwater. We had it rigged and ready to go. You know, that, like I said, paying attention to that lure, and I saw just a little difference in the surface of the water behind it. It looked like there was a fish following it, and there was. Nice largemouth. All right, buddy, thank you. There he goes. So that's why we have a follow-up bait rigged up and ready to go. And you saw how aggressive it was. We had that fish on twice on this before we caught him. Awesome. Awesome. Let's get another one. Man, that was exciting. That's why it's so important, you know, to pay attention to your lure and look around it, right? You know, be watching all around it, because the weight could come from the left, the right, behind it. That fish was actually following it from behind, and I could see him, so I kept my pace going, and he turned away. He decided he didn't want it. He got a little too close, and whatever it was, but that Fluke, man, whoo, that got him. It was a hungry, aggressive fish. So next time you go out fishing, try some of the techniques that we did today. You know, it's a lot of fun. It makes fishing more enjoyable. It's, you know, you're gonna have better results. You're gonna have better success. You're gonna enjoy yourself more because you're gonna be catching stuff, and, you know, maximize your day.